What do we got today? What is this? The Dunkin' Iced Mocha is what we're going with. This is coffee number 9 or 10. I lost count at about 6, so I've been saying one more. 10, it could be, but possibly 9th. But either way, 9th or 10th coffee. I don't usually fuck up my counter for my coffees, because that's very important to know. I don't want to overdo it and have like 20 in a day. So 9 or 10 coffees. Hold on, guys. I gotta make sure I'm even live. I'm talking to myself right now. I don't even know if I'm live. Oh, here we go. There I am. Am I live? Hey, unit, Angel Alega, James Shrimp Fajitas, DC Lanyard, Brad Boyer, Stegmeister, Ali, Jane Donnelly, Renee G, Robert Hurt, Alicia Vukovic. You guys hear me or what? Richard Rodriguez, Strict Tango, Tempe Davis, D. Monte, Ty Drew. I got a lot of gold card members, by the way. All right, you know what? I sound pretty good on the playback, so if you don't mind, I'm going to take these bitches off. And I'm going to... Hold on, let me put that up. I'm going to put in my own playback, if you don't mind, so BC can hear himself in real time, not just on the 3-second delay, which the tube does. Appreciate it. What's up, everybody? Die Hard fans, Dave Mille, Carmen, Bryant. I feel like we got some new subs up in here, man. You got to have 4-week membership to chat in the stream. At first, I had it on members only, and then I remembered the last stream was members only. I haven't talked to my entire red team in a while. I did, Diamante, man. Chopped it up myself. I shaved my own dome piece, bro. I did that right off the airplane on, what was it, early Saturday morning is when we landed. And then I took a red eye this morning, landed early this morning, didn't even unpack, put up an amped up podcast for you guys. So, I mean, the first thing I wanted to do when I got back to the city, I wanted to pump out some pro wrestling talk with you guys, man. So... Let me open this if you don't mind, guys. I haven't had a coffee in about 20 minutes, to be honest, so I'm kind of fiending over here. Again, this is number 9 or 10. I lost count. Let me crack this. We're going to talk the Smackdown rating. It is out. We are going to talk Smackdown's rating, a show that is said to be vinced. It got vinced. Matches were taken off. Things were rearranged. And you might be shocked at the number. For all the Vince haters out there, and trust me, I didn't like what was done on Friday either, but, ooh, you might want to run away and hide for the night, because SmackDown pulled a pretty consistent, pretty solid number a week away from Money in the Bank. We're going to talk about it. We'll also talk Roman Reigns. What a weekend for him. He just passed a legend, and he is now in the top 5 for the longest title reigns. In fact, wait till you hear what is next. And you know what WWE wants him to do. They want him to get Hulk Hogan's 1474. If you think that's impossible, wait till you hear when that is. We'll talk about that as well. And I also want to discuss Monday Night Raw's preview, man. The preview for Monday Night Raw is coming up. Of course, guys, just for fun, right? Just for fun, right before I went live, I checked the community a little bit, and sure enough, everybody is talking about how this is going to be a Vince Monday Night Raw. Right before WWE shows, right? They like to dish out that it's most likely going to be a Vince show, right? Paul Levesque gets none of the complaints. Paul Levesque is completely... He's free of any charges levied against this company. Paul Levesque gets a get-out-of-jail-free card every freaking show. He gets to collect the payday. He gets to have a premium spot in the company. And whenever anything goes wrong or the fans are pissed, Paul Levesque just gets to smile and look the other way. This guy, man, I don't know what he did to garner that love in the community, man. Just the NXT days, I guess. And then his fucking spritzing of the water back when he was a wrestler. I get it, man. But wow, the dude is just like Vinnie Mac. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. They're both douchebags. So you're just supporting one over the other, and one clearly doesn't even have any creativity anymore either. So even when Vince is gone, and your savior, Paul Levesque, is shitting the bed, you can say, BC, you were right all along, bro. I know, trust me. But we're already talking about this being a Vince show. Paul Levesque clearly is locked in a closet. He's got no control whatsoever, is what people are saying, right? Paul Levesque has no control. Beasley, his hands are tied. What do you expect him to do, Beasley? Guys, if you're at a Fortune 500 company, right? Let's just say you're on Wall Street, right? Before I get into this, we have to have a real discussion. We've talked about this many times. If you're on Wall Street, you're making good money. You don't want to lose that job. But you know what your boss does? He fucks your old lady, right? He tools on your old lady every fucking Tuesdays and Thursdays. He's got you working late on those days so he can go to your fucking crib and fuck your old lady. Who knows, right? Are you going to stay at the job just because it's good money and you really want the position? Or are you just going to tell him to fuck off, throw him off the fucking top tier of the Wall Street building, chuck that motherfucker, hopefully he lands right through his car windshield, and then give your old lady a piece of your mind, right? Wouldn't you fucking sever ties? There's no amount of money in the world to have somebody shit on your self-respect and moral compass like that. That's Wall Street making good money, and I hope you would know when to leave a job because you're literally being shit on. If you're at McDonald's and you're the last shift, right? You're the 10, 11, does McDonald's even close these days? I don't know. These kids are making $20 an hour flipping burgers these days. When I worked at McDonald's, I was making about $5. Anyway, I'm not bitter. But good for them. But if you're ending your shift, let's just say it's midnight, you want to go home, you cleaned everything, and you didn't half-ass it. You literally cleaned everything in that McDonald's. And your boss comes in, and he literally starts pissing and taking a shit on everything you just cleaned. If that happens more than once, twice, 3 times, or every shift that happens, wouldn't eventually you tell your boss to fuck off, I'm out of here? There's no amount of money in the world that would keep me here. Keep your $20, take your $20 an hour, shove it up your ass. Just like the guy on Wall Street, if you're taking a shit on everything he does and you're fucking his old lady, he's going to tell you eventually to fuck off. You know why? Because most human beings got a backbone. They got a set, and they utilize it when they know they're being done dirty and even filthy. So let's go to World Wrestling Entertainment. Why is Paul Levesque immune to this? Why is pro wrestling, why does it not count? Paul Levesque, according to these people, is getting shit on by Vincent Kennedy left and right every show. Paul Levesque's title is the Chief Content Creative Officer. Yet Vince McMahon supposedly has his hands tied and he's spanking him in the corner while he rewrites scripts. And the fans, they don't blame Paul Levesque for being an ass man at all, right? Part of the Kiss My Ass Club. He's the mayor of the club. No, instead they go, poor Triple H. If only one day Vince gives him the full reins. What if you just started calling the motherfucker out now and force him to step up to the old bastard or fucking leave? His boss is shitting on everything he does. Apparently, this is what I'm hearing in the community. Vince, bad. Triple H, good. Then at what point would Paul Levesque still be to blame because he's the head ass kisser? I'm asking a serious question. Guys, this is not a shtick. This is not fucking, this is what Beasley does, man. He's taking shots at JD is what he's doing. He's going after Simon is what he's doing. He's taking the ups and he's turning them into downs. This isn't attacking nobody. This is literally asking a question. At what point do you blame Paul Levesque for any of this? When you are just enabling... When you're enabling, you are a massive part of the problem. That's all he's doing. And the fact that every interview, when asked about Vince and fixing things and fans not being appreciative or even happy with what Vince is doing, you know what Paul Levesque says? We talk about it all the time. He literally says, we don't know what we're talking about. Vince knows exactly what he's doing and he's best for business. And then he mocks you. You remember the friend Mark Promo and many others? He mocks those people that defend him, and they still defend this motherfucker. And yet we seem to have this conversation 1,000 times on this channel because it doesn't get through. The narrative in this community is fucking nauseating. Nauseating. There was supposedly a good pay-per-view last night with another promotion. And you know what this community's talking about? Hours before Monday Night Raw, mind you. They're talking about Vince McMahon. They're up in arms. How dare Vince could be backstage at his own show. He could have involvement in his show. Of course. Nobody's happy about it. BC's not happy about it. I was the only one in this community from day one to say that Vince never left, by the way. That was me. And I took a lot of heat for it. Why everybody else was singing Kumbaya and shitting rainbows. Finally, Paul Levesque gets control of WWE when Paul Levesque told you himself he doesn't know what to do with the third hour, and the second hour confuses Paul Levesque. You think he's going to handle Monday Night Raw? The guy gets confused. He told you he doesn't know how to handle the third hour, and the second hour confuses this motherfucker. But he's supposed to be your savior. And I told you, don't count your chickens too fast here, man. They didn't exactly hatch. This dude never left. And Paul Levesque, if he follows the trajectory that we've always known him to follow, he's just going to have his schnoz up Vince's fucking ass 24/7. Don't think that he's going to step up for the fans or step up for what's right and wrong. Come on, man. Bay Kid 92, preach, BC. That's the only thing we can do right now is speak the fucking truth. We don't care on this channel, man. We stopped caring about all the metrics a long time ago when we found out fans get salty and they cry those tears over every little thing they get offended by. So you're damn right I'm gonna preach. I don't understand why Paul Levesque gets a pass every fucking show. He's in every meeting. He's okay with all of it. Meltzer puts out a report earlier. There's people that are just upset. You gotta believe. This is what he said. He doesn't know for sure. He's like, you gotta believe Paul Levesque is not happy. Do something, Paul Levesque. Is his balls literally in Stephanie's purse? Like, we joke about it. Is this No Balls McGee? Is Stephanie at home mopping up and occasionally she comes across Paul's balls? She has to put them back in her purse. How did these get on the floor? That was with the dog's kibble. Whether you're at McDonald's or you're on Wall Street, whatever revenue you're bringing in from your job or career, I hope you would not get treated like shit left and right to the point where you don't have any fucking balls or a spine to stand up for yourself. What is he to do, Beasley? Paul Levesque can't do anything, man. Vince has his hands tied. Every job I've ever been to, I know I can walk the fuck out if I'm being treated filthy. Wherever you are right now, you may have 10 kids and you're living paycheck to paycheck. But I would hope if you're being done that filthy by your boss, supposedly that's what Paul is being done, filthy. I would hope you would eventually leave. Step the fuck up, demand change, and if it ain't gonna come, you're out. Nobody deserves that. Paul Levesque loves it. Vince is taking a shit and Triple H's nose is still up his ass. He's like, wow, what is this? Is this like Jell-O? He's loving it up there. He's got his own fucking zip code. He's putting up a patio set. Paul Levesque loves it up Vince's ass. What frustrates me is every Monday night and now Fridays we go through this. Hours before the show, the community starts their outrage, right? Oh boy, here it comes. This is a Vince show. I can tell it's being Vinced. It's a Vince show. Here's an idea. Let's hold Paul just a little bit accountable. How about that? He's the chief content creative officer. I don't give a fuck if he's been locked in a closet for 4 months. Let's still blame him. Maybe we'll get somewhere if we start actually blaming the chief content creative officer. If the president of the United States goes to war with 17 countries tomorrow, let's fucking blame him. Let's do that. And everybody else associated with, by the way, let's see what the vice president said. Were you in agreement with going to war with 17 countries with no notice in one day? Because maybe you want to distribute that to the vice president just a little bit. No, I went along with it. I mean, what was I supposed to do? He's the president. My hands were tied. I woke up, I was having Fruity Pebbles, and the president told me we're going to war. And I was like, well, shit, can I take a shit? And the president was like, no, we're going to war. And I was like, fuck, all right. Let me call my ma real quick. Sorry, not sorry. If Paul Levesque was your savior because you loved a couple of years of black and gold and you thought he was going to save WWE creative, can he be a little better or a lot better than Vince? Possibly. If you think he doesn't have the same leaves that fell from Vince's tree, those same leaves fall in the yard of Paul Levesque. He will play to his favorites. He'll take a shit on those that he was not Papa H for. What the dude will do? He will still catapult Charlie Flair to the promised land because he loves Charlie Flair, because he loves Nature Boy. He will catapult Logan Paul to the promised land. He loves celebrities. He loves that aspect. Paul Levesque is good when he's putting on 5 matches at a pay-per-view and putting on 1 hour of weekly television on the network. Anything more than that, he overfumes. He overheats. I didn't want to be the one to break this news to you. But every Monday, here we go. It's going to be Vince. This show is Vince. Oh my God, it's Vince. Listen, none of us are happy, all right? None of us. Vince and Paul Levesque are at the top of the heap, and this is the product. Maybe, I'm just throwing this out there, maybe, if you start blaming Paul Levesque some more, he will get the fucking memo, and maybe it'll help him utilize or grow new balls, and maybe he will stand up to Vince. Or maybe he will walk the fuck out like Shane McMahon did numerous times and Stephanie did twice. It's okay to walk out. No, he's so consumed by power. He needs to be right there by Vince 24/7 to the point where he will get shit on 24/7 and not even care about it. Let him walk away. Maybe Paul Levesque would start his own promotion. Maybe he would get in business with Tony Khan and create something. Who knows? But it's better than doing this song and dance every Monday and Friday. Vince good, H is a victim. Poor Triple H, he was in the meeting the whole time and his mouth was taped and they had his hands tied up and he knew he was going to go into the closet after that. And he knew he was going to get his $5 million a year and be totally rich, filthy rich. He knew he was going to be second in command in that company, second, third with Nick Khan. He knew all of these great things. I feel so bad for him. What a tough life Paul Levesque is living. Come on, guys, let's blame Vince. So here we are. It's another Monday, and there was supposedly a good pay-per-view last night. That's what I'm hearing. I'm on a red eye the whole fucking night. But I'm hearing good pay-per-view, good pay. And now what does everybody want to talk about? Monday Night Raw and Vince McMahon. Couldn't have been that good of a pay-per-view. Damn, the focus has already shifted pretty damn quick. Damn, we couldn't wait to talk about World Wrestling Entertainment and all their negatives. Nobody's happy about this shit. Let's hold everybody accountable. It only works, it only gets better if everybody is held accountable. What's up, unit? That's your cold open, by the way. Salute. Let me pop this sumbitch. Unit! I opened it up, man. It was first members only. And then I opened it up to the entire red team. So it's good to see a lot of names up in here that I have not seen in a while. And of course, my gold card members, man, salute. We have a lot to discuss. Roman Reigns, the Smackdown rating, Monday Night Raw's preview. First, I don't give a fuck about formatting this podcast. I already put up a podcast a few hours ago. Got off a plane, didn't even unpack, and recorded a podcast for you guys. That went up a few hours ago. Check it out, man. Randy Orton possibly coming back to take the title from Gunther. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope he turns on Matt Riddle and takes on Scooter McGee. I want that legend killer back. I want the Viper Randy Orton back, bro. That's what I want. But we talk all about that and the Money in the Bank winners. As of right now, Logan Paul and Io Sky are set to win this. BC is going to tell you, hold up, not so fast. So check that out. Now, a lot of you guys already did. In fact, a bunch of you guys threw a coffee to BC in the super thanks down below on regular uploads. I don't think it's in the live streams, that super thanks. But once it's up on the channel, there's a super thanks button, and you guys threw BC a bunch of coffee. So I want to first acknowledge the unit. WWE AEW Marvel fan with a 2-spot coffee via the super thanks in that last podcast. I appreciate it. That's my channel member of the week, gold card member of the week, WWE AEW Marvel fan. And he says, I'd like to see Randy Orton return at Money in the Bank attacking Matt Riddle to set up Riddle versus Orton. It should be a personal and vicious buildup, as Orton would be a diabolical heel. And would you have a stipulation to the match, BC? Well, I echo those thoughts. That's exactly what I said in the podcast, WWE AEW Marvel fan, and I would not have a stipulation. Let him rock, and let's remind the world just how badass Randy Orton is. Now, if you have a second match, then we can do that. Falls count anywhere, anything that's going to really play to the strengths of Randy Orton. Especially if he's got to limit his bumps, then you're going to have a match like Falls Count Anywhere, something like that, where you're out of the ring and it's more of a fight than a wrestling match. WWE AEW Marvel fan Stegmeister with a 2-spot super thanks in the last podcast. Stegmeister says if WWE don't change their goddamn minds to LA Knight, winning the briefcase and stick with Logan, I will personally fire up 2K23 while the show is still going on and whoop Logan's ass as LA Knight. Yeah. Stegmeister, I second that, brother. At least we know somewhere in the world Logan Paul would be losing that match and LA Knight would be winning. So what if it's Stegmeister's 2K23 game? Stegmeister, salute, bro. And I think you were up in the super chats too for this live stream. So I'll get to those in a minute. Big Nang with a 2-spot super thanks in that last podcast. Thanks, BC. The struggle was real then. But on the real, there's people that got the black box free pay-per-view for years. If you don't know what Big Nang is talking about, we were talking about how many pay-per-views there were back in the day in that last podcast that I put up a few hours ago. There used to be 3 a month at times, guys. WCW, WWE, and Paul Heyman's ECW would all hold a pay-per-view most months. So if you were a kid, good luck getting $150. You had to beg your parents for at least 2 out of the 3. If you were really broke, 1 out of the 3. Or you did a lot of chores, a lot of work the entire month to get all 3. Or like Big Nang and even BC at times, you were calling up all your buddies and see whose black box is working so you could cut that shit for free. Big Nang, salute, no doubt. WWE AEW Marvel fan with another 2-spot super thanks coffee. When Io Sky wins the Money in the Bank, she'll most likely cash in on Charlotte Flair at SummerSlam, and then it's going to be a cycle yet again. It leads to nothing. If you're going to involve Charlie, and you know this, WWE AEW Marvel fan, she's just going for 15, 16, 17, and so on, man. By year 10 in this company, she'll probably have 20 titles. I don't want Io anywhere near Charlie Flair. Appreciate it. WWE AEW Marvel fan. Bobby J. For some reason, I just have the handle. Bobby, I appreciate that. And I'm sorry I just have the handle. For some reason, that's all it is showing me as of late. But Bobby J. 7777 with the 5-spot super thanks coffee. And Bobby says, as much as I love Io to win, I think it's far too soon. I think she should be the Royal Rumble winner. Really give her time to build up her stardom. Bayley should win at Money in the Bank by stealing it at the last second from Io. So Bobby has Bayley screwing Io out of the briefcase. I like that. She desperately needs a meaningful win, and you could work an interesting angle with it to further build the tension and damage control. The better move is Io winning at the Rumble and taking on Asuka at Mania. Having two Japanese women headline Mania is a huge moment and would look good in the company. And it would launch into superstardom, it would launch Io into superstardom, which she is well overdue. But this would take common sense. This would take common sense and logic, which Triple H and VKM clearly don't have. Shake my head. Bobby, I love the idea, man. I really do. Just to think of Asuka and Io on the grandest stage of them all, this would put respect back at WrestleMania. And if Paul Levesque truly wants to show that he has any leverage in the company, and he's not just a pushover, you would do Asuka Io, something like that at Mania. But as a big Io fan myself, one of the best female wrestlers in the world, I do not feel Io should be winning the briefcase. It's going to be such a nice moment for her. My heart will be warmed. It's awesome. But it doesn't do anything. She just lost a title match last month in Puerto Rico at Backlash. Now all of a sudden she's going to stand on top of a ladder with a briefcase trying to tell us that we should be ready for another title match, and this time she's going to win it. It doesn't make sense. It's ass backwards. At Backlash, build her up more. Make Io an actual viable contender for a title, and then have her win Money in the Bank. Instead, let's 50-50 book her. Makes zero sense. Bobby J 7777 is the handle, and I appreciate that super thanks, bro. Woo! So as you guys can see, man, that podcast caught wildfire. A few thousand of you guys have already been able to catch that, so I appreciate that big time. And to the coffees that were sent in that podcast, I appreciate you guys. Stegmeister and Eric Leno, both celebrating 6-month memberships. I saw in the chat just now. Stegmeister about a couple of minutes ago, and Eric Leno, both 6 months. Salute to all my gold members in that chat right now. To all my channel members, man. Let me take a moment to salute you guys. Acknowledge my gold team. Salute. And DC Lanier, by the way, 4-month membership. LA Knight for Money in the Bank, and Trish for Money in the Bank. Yeah. Sign me up. Don't say it too loudly. A lot of people do not like Trish. They think she sucks. She just shouldn't be there. She's taking a spot from somebody. That's all BS. Trish Stratus is amazing. She's fucking one of the only individuals right now that knows how to play a heel in the women's division. DC Lanier, salute. Anthony Boley, I appreciate that, man. And you are right, D-Money, A-Cash. And Trish is still delish. Big Nang. And Angel, I agree. All right, so basically what has happened, guys, is we're about a half an hour into the show, and I've covered none of the topics that I wanted to yet, because we go live, and we're amplified, and we just shoot the shit, and we have a lot of fun on the channel, man. It's what we do. But let me go over some of these stories. Let me rock with Smackdown's Rating. Smackdown's Rating, which is a show that was not advertising Roman Reigns, so you knew they were going to take a hit. Roman Reigns brought him almost 20% increase last week. No Roman was advertised in a show that was heavily called Vinced. The show was Vinced. And SmackDown this week pulled a 2.354. It held consistent, steady, and actually kicked ass. A few times in the quarterlies, catapulting over 2.4. Even 2.5, I believe, in 1Q. I have to recheck that. To put that in comparison, SmackDown a couple of weeks ago, June the 9th, scored a 2.278. So this non-Roman Reigns episode was actually 80-some-odd thousand viewers, 80 to 90,000 more than 2 weeks ago. Last week, SmackDown 616 scored a 2.43 because of Roman Reigns. The last quarter bumped up 19%, guys. It went to 2.7 million. So, trust me, I was not happy with the rearrangements. I was not happy that advertised matches got the hook, got Das Boot without any acknowledgement. But for everybody that cries about Vince, you might want to hide for the night because Vince's SmackDown scored nearly a 2-4. I don't know what to tell you guys, man. I'm not happy about it either. But I also don't rant and rave that ever since Paul Levesque got this new title, that it's just Vince in the weeds by himself. No, Paul Levesque is in the weeds with him. Paul Levesque is on his knees in the weeds. I don't know what Paul Levesque is doing in the weeds. I'm hoping Vince has his pants on. But they're in the weeds together. But this SmackDown, 2.354. Rampage is, I'm not even going over the AEW shit. The numbers are so low for AEW, it's not even worth it anymore. And nobody wants to hear the truth either. They just want me to shit on WWE and rip those numbers apart and don't say anything about the other company. So you know what? They don't even have the numbers for me to talk about it, so I'm not gonna. Rampage didn't even hit 400, I don't believe. So it's not even, we're not gonna talk about it. Deal. How's that? Moving on. Roman Reigns. Oh, listen to this, man. Roman Reigns just passed a legend. Pedro Morales. Listen to this, man. Pedro Morales was number 5 on the longest reigns for WWE Championships. Pedro was at 1,027 days. And Roman Reigns just booted Pedro Morales, bro. Booted that son of a bitch out of the 5th spot. Much love to Pedro. But booted at 1,029, possibly on 1,030 by now, actually. But I have 1,029. You get the point. Roman Reigns is now in the top 5 for the longest title reigns in World Wrestling Entertainment. Next up, if you're wondering, is Bruno Sammartino at 1,237 days. If you're wondering, BC did the math. That is the end of January. I believe that's going to be right around Royal Rumble, because I don't know if the Rumble is beginning of January or the end, but it's going to be around there. It's the end of January. And Roman Reigns will take over the 4th spot, which is Pedro Morales. And that'll be 1,237 days. And then everybody that thought they were not going for Hulk Hogan's number 3 spot, 1,474, I want to hear you then. Because then the next person in the windshield for Roman Reigns and Vince McMahon's WWE is Hulk Hogan's number 3 spot at 1,474. And if you guys are wondering, that would be September of next year, September of 2024, is when Roman would give Hulk Hogan Das Boot. Now, BC heard months ago internally in the company that Vince McMahon and Paul Levesque want Hulk Hogan out of that top 5. So who the fuck comes along and takes the, let's just say Roman takes the 3rd spot, boots Hogan to 4th. Who the fuck is going to come around and boot him after that? Because these 1,500 day title reigns in 2023 and beyond, they're getting a little harder to do. But they don't want Hulk Hogan in the books. Hunter never liked Hogan, and Vince McMahon just has a history where he is trying to erase a lot of what Hulk Hogan did. So they want his 1,474 booted. They don't want him in front of Roman Reigns. I reported that to you guys months ago. A few laughs here and there. But here we are after WrestleMania, and he still got the title. Here he is, just cracking the top 5 and booting Pedro. Here he is, if he just holds it to January, and we don't expect him to lose it before Mania next year, bare minimum, you're talking about overtaking Bruno's 1,237 at number 4, and then Hulk Hogan's right there, September of that year. They just have to hold on 8 more months. You think this company won't do that? It's why they created a whole nother title, a participation trophy runners-up championship. So you guys are like, oh man, it better not happen, but I'm telling you right now, if you leave it up to Vincent Kennedy McMahon and Hunter Hearst Helmsley, they will have Roman surpass Hulk Hogan. And he's not going to drop that title until September of next year, which I don't even know what would be the pay-per-view at that time. It would be past SummerSlam. Survivor Series would be the next biggest one. I don't see all of this to be losing in that. Roman could hold it till Mania 2025. And then he's taking the number 2 spot almost by Bruno Sammartino's number 2 spot. Or at least he'd be on his way. This company can't help themselves, guys. This company can't help themselves. From day one, I was hearing rumblings that this was about Hulk Hogan's title reign. And they really felt that Roman could and should pass it. And all along the line, I'm like, nah, that's not going to happen because X, Y, and Z needs to take it, right? Or this situation. Or no, they're in the UK for this big event, man. Maybe Drew gets it here. Cody's got to win it at Mania, so he's no way Roman's taking Hogan's. And step by step, little by little, we're starting to see that they're inching closer to Hulk Hogan. But I don't want to turn this into a sob story. Congratulations to Joe Anoa'i, Roman Reigns. Because in the last 10, 15, 20 years plus, we have not seen anything like this. In fact, all the reigns that we're talking about in that top 5, BC basically saw none of those. Maybe the tail end of Hogan. When was Hogan's 1474? You guys ready for this? Listen to this. This is Hulk Hogan's title reign. Hogan's 1,474-day reign started on January 23rd, 1984. 1984 January. So the whole year he was champion of 84. He didn't lose it, guys, until February 5th, 1988. He won it in 1984 at the beginning of the year, January of 84. And he won it. He lost it in 88. 84 to 88. 84, 85, 86, 87. He went into his 5th year as champion. 4 complete years into his 5th year. Could you imagine that shit happening today? So I got to give props to Roman. Now, this is where I'm going to throw a slight dig, all right? And you could say, BC, man, that's messed up, man. You couldn't have just left it at congratulations. But it's easy to get 1,029 days like Roman has right now when you don't show up for half of them. We all know that's true, man. There was a big part of this. And I'm not totally dissing him. Some people are going to go, not so fast, BC. I have statistics. Trust me, I know. I actually defended Roman a few weeks ago with people that say he just doesn't show up ever. I actually came to his defense because statistically, over the last several months especially, but the last year is when he really started to cut the dates. Before that, he was actually showing up a lot. So it somehow kind of evened out. But if this continues another year like this, no, Roman will absolutely be called out for not showing up to dates. So as of right now, I'm not going to hold them to it. But if we do another year of this type of booking where Roman shows up once or twice a month and defends his championship once every 3 months. Because what is it? Next week is July, right? When's the last time he defended his title? Early April? I think WrestleMania was the last time Roman defended, right? So basically early April. April 2nd. April, May, June, and July is next week. You're talking 4 months, no title defense. And wait a second, he's not even defending at Money in the Bank. Isn't that civil war with the Usos? So he's not even defending at Money in the Bank. So technically, we don't even have a Roman title match planned, do we, guys? JR9 Gaming, you up in the chat? Anybody in the chat, confirm for me. Roman has no title defense upcoming, correct? Obviously, SummerSlam, but that we don't know anything. Brad Boyer, he's not even defending. No. Nope. No. So my unit is telling me that Roman has no title. JR9 says, yeah, correct, BC. Okay, so thank you, unit, for confirming that for me. So Roman doesn't even have a title defense lined up, and we're going into the 4th month. All of April, if you take away April 2nd at Mania, and then the rest of April, he just went home on vacation, and most of May. And when he came back at the end of May, he just was in a tag team match. So April, May, June, and next week is July. And there's no word of Roman defending that title. So my point is, guys, you can see why people would be angry, right? Like, we're calling this dude a champion of over 1,000 days, but we can just look to recently. 4 months, and he hasn't even defended a title. Or it's going to be 4 months. Guys, that's 120 days. No, that's not going to make people fucking... That's a tenth of your whole reign. So I can see why people are not happy with this. Back in the day, Jack Tunney, who was the president of WWE storyline-wise, you had to defend every 30 days. You just had to. Or you had to make an appearance date, right? There was a appearance... what do they call it, guys? Appearance... I don't know. There was appearance obligations. Even though it was storyline, it helped people go, oh yeah, the champion actually has commitments. This whole Roman gets to do what Roman wants to do shit, it's not sitting well with a lot of people, man. So, 4 months not defending your title to the point where they have to create a new title. And poor AJ Styles is like, I want to disagree with the fans, but they're right. How do we look at this as not a secondary title? And poor AJ was going for the title, and he had to agree with us. It's always funny when fans try to defend it, right? It's not a participation trophy, BC. It's a worker's title. Didn't you listen to Rollins? Listen to AJ. AJ was going for the title, and he even said he can't disagree with us. It was made. It was literally created by Paul Levesque because they didn't have the balls to take it off of Roman at Mania. Anyway, now we're starting to get negative on this 1,029 days. Congratulations to Joe Anoa'i. I hope this company gets their ducks in a row, and I hope that we get more title defenses. So the title reign feels more like a title reign, and he's not just holding this prop. At first, for a long time, this title reign felt significant, guys. It felt prestigious. Even though he was taking on and beating guys like the Balors and the Cesaros and Big E, a lot of people we didn't want to see get derailed by the Roman Express. But at least the title in the reign, in Roman Reigns, it all felt prestigious. Lately, it just feels like he's carrying around a prop. And it's starting to feel like the opposite of prestigious. And that's why I said on April 2nd at WrestleMania, you got to read the temperature of the room. You have to know when it's time to give that title up. You have to know. Because the Bloodline storyline, which is the only good storyline in WWE right now, that doesn't need a world title, guys. Roman went on vacation. He came back. He was in a tag team match at Night of Champions. And now he's still in a tag team match in the following pay-per-view. He's just in a feud with his cousins, the Usos, having a bunch of tag matches. Nothing Roman has done after Mania constitutes him having a championship. Nothing. Meanwhile, Cody's having all of these individual matches and traveling from Puerto Rico to the UK. Cody's having matches with Brock Lesnar that the only reason they would be feuding would be to have a title on the line, and Cody never got the title. It's ass backwards, guys. They fucked up at WrestleMania. And now Roman, it's almost like he's stuck with this title just to pass people's dates. Just so he can keep collecting records and reach Hulk Hogan. Meanwhile, it's doing nothing for the fucking company. BC is dropping one truth bomb after another. Eric Leno knows in the chat. I ain't bullshitting you guys, man. Not one word that I said am I bullshitting you or sugarcoating this conversation at all. I'm happy for Roman. I love long title reigns. This thing went off the tracks at WrestleMania, and currently it hasn't been put back on. I love the bloodline implosion angle. I would have waited on it, to be honest, but they're doing it now because I feel they didn't have anything else for them. So they're imploding the bloodline now. Okay. It doesn't need a fucking world title. It would make more sense if Roman was completely off the hinge because he didn't have his title anymore. Salute, unit. Salute, though, man. Salute to Joe Anoa'i. 1,029 days. I didn't know if I'd see something like that in pro wrestling in the modern era, and we're seeing it. So whether we like it or not, we got to give props. Damn, that son of a bitch has held that title for a long time. But again, a lot of fans are saying that's all he's doing, BC. He's just holding the title. Salute, Joe Anoa'i. Now, what I would like to do is the Monday Night Raw preview for tonight. Now, listen to this show because it looks like they're setting up a lot of face-to-faces. Now, this can go one of two ways, guys. This can go one of two ways. Hold on, let me get it. Here we go. This is either going to be just, I'm going to say words, and then you're going to say words back, and maybe we'll do a minion fight. Or they're going to get really creative, right? It's one of two ways. And if they don't, all you're going to hear in the community is, this is a Vince McMahon show, right? From all the nerds, all the little crybaby bitch boy Bradens. They're going to let Paul Levesque off the hook because they probably don't have their own nuts. So they're going to let Paul Levesque off the hook and they're just going to blame Vince. And if the show somehow by a miracle ends up being good, they're going to say, this was a Paul Levesque show. BC is just going to call it what it is. Vince McMahon and Paul Levesque run this shit. I either get a good show, or they're both going to be to blame, or we get a bad show, or should I say they're both going to be positively reviewed. How's that, if we get a good show? Or it's a shit fest, and both HHH and VKM are going to get ripped apart in tomorrow's review. That's how we're going to do this. Because they set up a lot of good face-to-faces. Okay. It's a go-home show to Money in the Bank tonight. I don't need to see matches. I want you to sell me on some story. Why should I be excited for Money in the Bank? I don't care about your bangers and your clangers. I don't care if Davey Meltzer gives it 7 stars tomorrow. I don't care if Simon is there giving fucking a bunch of ups because some fucking geek brought a sign that said, hey, Simon, can you give me an up? I don't care about any of that. I want storylines. I know I can get really good wrestling this Saturday at Money in the Bank, London, England. I know we can get that then. If you want to throw in some good matches tonight, a couple of them, cool, bring it. I can see some good wrestling. Hey, give me some good sequences so I can call it a banger. Right? Bring it on. Bring on some good wrestling. That's cool. But sell me on the stories tonight. It's a go-home show. It's a go-home show. I want to know why I should care about these matches. So they set up a bunch of face-to-faces. This can go one of two ways. They're going to say some words and have a minion fight. You know, slap each other's hands. Or they're going to get creative. And they're going to do shit that for the whole week we're like, oh man, did you see Monday night, right? All right? You can laugh about some of the shit we saw back in the day, but it's shit that I'll never forget. Ultimate Warrior stuck in a casket in his feud with Jake Roberts and The Undertaker. And the Warrior is stuck in a casket with snakes. I remember that shit. Marty Jannetty getting chucked through the barber shop window on Brutus Beefcake's barbershop via Shawn Michaels. I remember that. Yokozuna completely, almost killing the Macho Man Randy Savage by squashing his lungs in on a Monday Night Raw. I remember that. Savage trying to save Crush. Don't ask me why. I'm picking this thing straight off the top of my dome piece. I just remember it. Andre the Giant ripping that cross off of Hulk Hogan in the Piper's Pit. I remember that. These are the things that I remember, the storylines. Macho Man Randy Savage wondering if his girl, Miss Elizabeth, is actually having an affair with Ric Flair leading into WrestleMania 8. That's a story. That's what I remember. And I don't care if it's really goofy like the Big Show on top of a fucking casket being pulled by the big boss man in a hearse. Or Ronda Rousey, Charlie Flair, and Becky Lynch, each in a cop car, trying to chase each other down. Pro wrestling is ludicrous. Pro wrestling is wild. Pro wrestling is for the moments and the memories. Make me care about the feud. AJ Styles putting Shane McMahon's dome piece to a windshield. That's captivating. I don't need to see some words and a minion battle. Stephanie getting sacrificed by Taker. James Shrimp Fajitas. Fuck yeah. Come on, what else you got, unit? Brock rolling Zach Gowen down the stairs. Big Nang. What else you got? What's your memories? The Supermarket Brawl. Booker T and Stone Cold battling through every aisle in a supermarket. Thousands of dollars in damage. But Vince forked over the price tag because it was best for the angle, best for a feud, best for business. Unfortunately, do you guys know who stopped that feud from happening at a pay-per-view? You never got Stone Cold and Booker T at a pay-per-view. You know why? Paul Levesque didn't want to push Booker T. Triple H. Oh, to this day, man. I can count 5 times where he single-handedly stopped Booker T's momentum. Roddy Piper hitting Snook in the head with a coconut on Tibia Major. Earthquake squashing Hulk Hogan on the Brother Love show. Tony Partita. I remember Earthquake squashing Hulk Hogan on the Brother Love show. Triple H attacking Orton at the home front. Absolutely. Undertaker burying Paul Bear in cement. Vince McMahon's Corvette being buried in cement. Where are these? The Vince explosion. Kurt Angle in his milk truck. Guys, where are these moments on Raw, man? You guys are coming. I'm getting goosebumps remembering why I fell in love with pro wrestling. And I got to tell you, it wasn't a lot of the 30-minute bangers. I fell in love with pro wrestling because of Bret Hart and British Bulldog at SummerSlam 92. And that was a great match, by the way. But the storyline I remember more than anything. The family implosion of Bulldog, who is married to Bret Hart's sister. And the match was the icing on the cake, man, the cherry on top. Ricky Steamboat and Macho Man. Ricky Steamboat and Macho Man, WrestleMania 3. Amazing match. But it was everything that went into it beforehand. You guys are coming up with the memories and the moments is why I fell in love with this shit. In 2023, we don't care anymore. We just want to watch Wrestler A in his tights versus Wrestler B in his tights. I want to see all the sequences. I want to see all the Hurricanrana Canadian Destroyer 450 strong splashes. Man, did you guys see the banger on Tuesday night? Hey, did you see Monday night's clanger? Hey, I heard Meltzer gave the match on Friday 10 stars. What are we doing today, man? And then you wonder why ratings are going backwards. We totally turned into nerds. Scripted, predetermined, planned combat. And we're acting like this is a real fucking thing. Like it's a boxing match. Like it's a fight. Storylines don't matter anymore, you know. Sometimes we just want to see wrestling action, BC. That's on you, bro. Don't put me in that category. Anyway, you guys came up with some really good ones. I get goosebumps just thinking about this shit. I miss it. You know, back in the day, we would turn on Monday Night Raw, and guys, we were in for moment after moment. We never knew what was going to happen. It was truly shocking, man. You had to watch. Monday Night Football couldn't compete because our last channel button was to WCW Nitro and back to Raw and USA. You couldn't, I mean, there was moments, there was superstars that were larger than life, one after the other. Nowadays, Kevin Patrick is just like, welcome everyone to Monday Night Raw. Corey, what a night we have, Corey. Corey, what a night we have. And I'm making it more amplified, by the way. He doesn't even have that energy. Welcome everyone to Monday Night Raw. What a night, Corey. Tonight, Corey, Becky Lynch is going to say words. Finn Balor's going to be out with Judgment Day to talk about what he's going to do one day soon. At Money in the Bank, Corey. Corey, let's go to the ring for the first match of action. What are we doing, man? Where's the excitement? Do you guys realize we used to start Raw? It was a war zone, literally. They used to call it War Zone. The fucking pyro was bombs. It was bombs, man. Put up the truth bombs in the chat real quick. Boom, 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 boom. Put them up. Put up the truth bombs, man, or any fucking emoji bombs. Put them up in the chat. That was the pyro back in the day in the Attitude Era. That's what literally happened. JR9 Gaming, Brad Boyer, fuck yeah, Alicia. That was the pyro. Cosmic, fourth one, fuck yeah. It wasn't pyro, it was explosions. The fans were out of their seat. Everybody had a sign. Jim Ross was screaming at the top of the show. Welcome everyone to Monday Night Raw. Jerry tonight. What a show. Chris Jericho and The Undertaker. And before Jim Ross could even stop screaming, the glass would shatter and here comes fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin. The place would be unglued. Goosebumps bopped out of your skin. And now, today, Kevin Patrick is like, welcome everyone for a good night of wrestling action. And here comes fucking... Oh, 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 oh. And we sing for 20 minutes like fucking Walking Dead zombies, extras on a Walking Dead show. Wow, am I airing out grievances or what, man? You never know what to expect on a BC live stream, man. And I thought about how just shitty this product is today. Pro wrestling is just weird today, man. Pro wrestling is weird. Where are the storylines? Where are the wrestlers that I care about the second their music hits? And by the way, I heard Randy Orton got a new theme song. Is that correct, guys? Because I'm already reporting his return looks to be imminent. If he got a new theme song, then it's more imminent than than any of us realized. Man, I just wish that pro wrestling found itself, you know what I mean? Remember who you are. Remember. You know what I mean? Remember some straight Lion King shit. Remember what you are, man. Remember how to get back to being the best. Like, what happened, man? We just go through the motions every Monday. Wrestlers come out. I don't give a fuck about all of them. About all of them. And then I gotta be respectful in the review, right? Much respect to Johnny Gargano. Because we love Johnny Gargano, but we don't give a fuck. Sadly, Drew McIntyre could come back tomorrow. I don't give a fuck. Unless he comes back as a heel and they give him proper storytelling. It's sad that one of the best wrestlers today, Drew McIntyre, doesn't even get a legit reaction. Sheamus, Bobby Lashley. Their music hits and you fucking yawn. And it's weird. Edge still gets a pretty good pop. Trish Stratus is still really good at what she does. And you know what today's wrestling fan does? They shit on Edge. Or they try to compare. No offense to Edge, but man, Christian is knocking it out of the park. Edge is an afterthought. Why even compare? Be happy we have fucking Edge. Hopefully some fucking creativity can get behind this guy, but at least Edge is larger than life. I don't need to compare him to a guy who is in another company acting like a cheerleader for their version of the 24/7 title. Trish Stratus is phenomenal. But we shit on her because she's from the Attitude Era. Her time is done. She sucks, is what they say. I'll take these Attitude Era people ahead of any of these motherfuckers because I don't have a fucking pulse with them. Sadly, there is no connection when any of these fuckers come out through the curtain. Oh, BC is letting you have it tonight, folks. And I have 46 minutes before Raw, so I can fucking do it. Network guy Dave, I appreciate you, bro. I always say it's always okay to disagree with BC. That's one thing with BC, you just don't like if I disagree, man. If it's an opinion that I'm talking about, feel free. I don't give a shit. If I'm literally dropping truth, there's nothing to disagree about. There's no connection to that. You could be a fan of some of them, like BC is a fan of some of these wrestlers. There's still not that out-of-your-seat connection with any of them. There's not. If there was, the ratings would tell you different. It's sad. So anyway, how did I get on this subject? Oh yeah, I was about to tell you guys the card for tonight. Tonight's Monday Night Raw. Rollins is going to give his title address. He's going to discuss how he's feeling after his attack and of last week from Finn Balor and Judgment Day, and that he's going to go. It's all systems go this weekend in London for Money in the Bank. Obviously, motherfucker, do they not follow their own trajectory, their own timeline? You had this dude show up on Tuesday night and defend his title against Braun Breaker on NXT. So obviously he's going to be there at Money in the Bank. They didn't think this through. They have him attacked on Monday night, and then they had him wrestle the next night in NXT. So they canceled his open challenge, but then he's wrestling 24 hours later. And then 6 days later, we're supposed to wonder if he's okay to wrestle in 5 more nights. Guys, it doesn't make sense. But okay, Sethington Rollins is going to give his title address. Then Sami Zayn is going to take on Gunther. Yay, more Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Imperium in some way or form, right? Because that's all we're doing. This will end in a schmaz because Gunther cannot lose. He's the IC title holder. I don't want to even see the tag team title holder, Sami Zayn, losing. So this is going to be a schmaz of some sort, and we're going to continue having them do their minion fight. Okay. Maybe the match will be good, right, BC? BC, maybe we'll get 15 minutes of Gunther and Sami putting on a banger, BC. Cool. We're going to have a women's summit. The women's summit is tonight. All of the participants, even if you're SmackDown, doesn't matter. There is no brand split anymore. That was a farce. It's a charade. As long as you have a visit, they don't even require a visitor's pass anymore. Just show up. All of the women in the ladder match for this Saturday, they're all going to be in the ring tonight, and they're all going to have words with one another. Again, this could either be, I have words, let me talk. They each say a sentence, and then the other one says, let me talk, and they say a sentence, and then we just play musical chairs, or round and round we go, a merry-go-round, a vicious cycle. That's what's going to happen. Or it's going to be a creative segment. Don't hold your breath on it. But all the ladies will be in there. Watch it turn into like is it 8 ladies, guys? For Money in the Bank, is it 8 females? Because watch it turn into an 8-man tag tonight. 8 women tag. Or a 6-person tag. Watch this somehow turn into a match. Cody Rhodes is going to face off in the main event versus Damian Priest. Why? Cody sure as hell can't lose. Damian Priest shouldn't be losing. He's losing all the fucking time. He just lost at Backlash to a fucking musician. He just lost to a fucking bunny. But okay, we'll get good wrestling, basically. Cool. Dominic continues to get massive heat. That's literally in the headline here. Dominic. Oh, stop, man. Stop. Oh, bro. And he is. He's the only one to get organic heat, by the way. But obviously he's going to be involved with the Cody Rhodes Priest shit. So just put that at the end. Cody versus Priest. What will Dominic do? And then Ciampa and Miz continues on. And there's literally a question mark. Can he do it himself, take on the Miz? Why wouldn't he be able to? Oh, wait a second. Are you setting up John Gargano to team up with Ciampa? Are we going to get DIY again, man? And everybody's going to go black and gold, black and gold. There's no tag division. As much as we all enjoyed DIY back in the day, what do you expect with a division that is non-existent? Where do you think they're going to go as a tag team? I actually feel bad for Tommaso and Johnny if they put them back together. Because they're just going to mingle in a sea of nothingness. Like the ladies and Naomi and Sasha. And in 6 months, Tommaso and Johnny will be asking to get the fuck out. So they're already teasing Johnny and Tommaso. In the wrestling world, not thinking about it, just going off of nostalgia, is going to go, yeah, this could be the start of a division, basically. How many times have we said that? You start a division with Alpha Academy and War Machine, not Vikings, by the way. That's how you start a division. Do you know how good Alpha Academy is? I'm starting to get concerned with Otis's health, by the way. But when they started, they were so fucking good. War Machine, one of the best tag teams in recent memory. Now, they're forgettable Vikings. You could put them on a ship, and they can wilt away into a sea of nothingness, and nobody would fucking be reminded of them. Street Profits. Could they be any more just redundant? When the Street Profits come out, I want every red cup imaginable just to get me through their stupid segment. And that's a shame. Profits could have been something. There's no tag division. So people are not thinking. These are the same people that go, Cody should have lost at Mania. He needs to struggle and he needs to go through adversity. These are the same people. They're not thinking ahead. They're forgetting that this is Paul Levesque and Vince McMahon's WWE. It's not going to go off accordingly. What Paul Levesque did in NXT, forget it. This is not NXT. Even if Paul Levesque is running this full throttle, would it be a little better than Vince? We would hope. But it would still have so many fucking holes in the game. No pun intended. It would still be masterfully a disaster in so many ways. These are the same people that thought Cody needs to lose at Mania, and then they turned around and they're like, oh, I guess we were wrong, BC. You think? It's because BC was thinking ahead. Every decision has a ripple effect. For every action, there has to be a reaction. Cody Rhodes can't just walk out of Mania giving his schedule afterwards and Roman's going home for 2 months afterwards and you put the title out, you keep it on Roman? Of course! Nobody was thinking. They make weird decisions like that because that's what fans do. But it's my responsibility as a real critic in this community to think about all of the angles, to look a mile ahead down the road. That's my responsibility. Nobody put that on me. I put it on myself because I love this channel. I created it from nothing. It became a success. And I like the responsibility to look a mile ahead. But you guys can trust me, man. When I'm looking down that mile and I see something that does not make sense or it ain't going to be good, you can trust. I did my due diligence. I did all my research. I got all my ducks in a row. You can put Tommaso and Johnny together. Come back in 1 month. You're going to find out in 1 week. But come back in 1 month. And you don't even got to go, BC, you were right. Just come back and BC will be talking about what needs to be done now, how we can correct this massive wrong. I don't know, Brad Boyer. I'd have a lot of words with Paul Levesque. A lot of words with Paul Levesque, I'll tell you that much. So that's your Monday Night Raw preview, guys. I know we spent a good deal of time on that. I had a lot to say. We got amplified during that, but for justified reasons. And hold on, are we already seeing it in the community? Are we already getting the Vince McMahon reports? Oh, here it is. What's this dirt sheet? This is Wrestle Inc. is the dirt sheet. Vince McMahon fingerprints reportedly all over tonight's episode of Raw. His fingerprints. This community is so nerdy, bro. Every week they're going to say it differently, right? Friday it got Vinced. Now the fingerprints of Vince. He got arrested and the cops brought him to Raw and they're going to do the fingerprints there. PWI. Vince McMahon's influence on WWE. Mike Johnson reporting tonight's Raw from Savannah, Georgia will have Vince McMahon fingerprints all over it. Because Vince told him that, or Paul told him that, right? Somebody leaked that to him, right? Vince McMahon just fucking, hey, is this Mike Johnson? Yeah, I saw your name was Johnson and I have to call. I just wanted to know. I wanted you to know, pal. I got my fingerprints all over tonight's show. I want all the geeks and all the little wrestling nerds tomorrow to be crying. Vince, it was Vince all along, damn it. I want them to cry. I want them to say, damn it, Vince, why? Why, Vince? Why are you doing this, Vince? Why don't you just let your doofus son-in-law take control? Vince, why? Why are you doing it? Well, let me tell you something, pal. Mike Johnson. It's 'cause I'm in the weeds. It was me. I was in the weeds all along. Then you can go to hell. I still got my Vince, guys. I still got my Vince. Here we go. Didn't I tell JR9 Gaming, Suntivia, everybody in the chat, didn't I tell you guys about an hour ago when I started the show? I said, what? Wait for it, guys. We're way ahead of Raw, but you're going to start seeing all that. We do it every Monday. Every Monday, and we started to see it on Fridays too now. Every Monday, this is what we do. We talk about the fake Vince stories. Now, I'm not saying that Vince isn't there or making changes or has his fucking blueprint or finger, whatever they're saying. Of course, he always has. I always told you guys, from day one, he never left. But Paul Levesque is running a lot of this shit too. There's been reviews I've done recently where I have shown you single-handedly exactly which segments were Paul Levesque's, and you can trace them back to what he did in Black and Gold. But nobody wants to talk about it. They just refuse to believe it. So they lump the whole show as a Vince show. And Paul Levesque gets fucking cast aside. I told you guys, man. James Shrimp Fajitas, no doubt, brother. Stegmeister. Santivia. I called this. This is what we do, man. And then other fucking creators and podcasters and journalists, they jump on the narrative bandwagon, right? Fucking Vince! Vince is destroying everything that Paul Levesque could have. Paul Levesque is tied up in a closet. If only Paul Levesque could get a hold of his balls. But Vince has locked him up in a safe. Paul Levesque is a victim, apparently. And Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Paul Levesque is a victim. Vincent Kennedy's fingerprints, guys, is what we're hearing. Oh, bro. I knew it was coming. They actually have a report. It says Vince McMahon's fingerprints reportedly all over tonight. The guy is still running the company. Nick Khan, CEO. Vince McMahon running. And Chief Content Creative Officer Paul Levesque. Blame one, blame them all then. But we can't keep doing this every Monday, bro, just to get clicks. Just so people have an easy way out. Paul Levesque can do no wrong, no matter what happens tonight. Do you guys realize what fans did to Paul Levesque? They made him immune. They made Paul Levesque immune. Everything bad will be Vince. And if anything is good tonight, do you know what they're going to say? Wow, Paul Levesque got a segment. I don't know how we got that way as a community. You're damn right. We're going to blame Vince McMahon. But wow. Have some balls and step up to Paul Levesque. Are these people trying to get a job with WWE and maybe they think that it's better if... Maybe they have an in with Triple H, right? So, like, I'm going to say anything bad about him in case he wants to hire me. Is that what we're doing? Is that why we're protecting Paul Levesque? Seems pretty fucking odd to me. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to... I get choked up talking about it. I just wanted to bring that by you guys, man. It's already reported. Every Monday night, we get this report a few hours before Raw. It's almost, this narrative, it's almost like somebody from another promotion. I'm not saying anything, but it's almost like somebody's pushing that narrative at the perfect time, right before Raw, so everybody just gets their hopes, throws it out the window, has the bar as low as it can be, and if they hear that Vince is, even if it is good, they're just going to go, well, it's a Vince show, so no, it wasn't good. It's almost like we're just pulling a narrative hours before the show just to sabotage it before the show even hits the airwaves. I don't like this narrative in the community, hours before Raw, where we're just saying, Vince is backstage. Vince is working remotely from home. Vince is ripping the script. Vince's fingerprints are on it. Vince has the blueprint on it. Vince is in the weeds. Vince is in the sky. Vince is in the ocean. Vince is in the flower patch field. Vince is in aisle 5 of Target, remotely making changes. These reports are getting fucking stupid. These reports are fucking dumb. Hey, I got a report for you. Paul 3H's Levesque is in Savannah, Georgia tonight. Paul Levesque is on headset at Gorilla for WWE Raw. Paul Levesque's title is head of creative officer, content creative officer, whatever the fuck he's calling himself. And he's got the headset on, and he's going to be at Gorilla. So if you get a shitty show tonight, how about you also blame Paul? Or is he just the head bitch boy Braden? Is he the lead asshole, the lead enabler, the lead ass kisser? That's the report, man. When did this go up on the report, by the way? This went up at 7 o'clock. The report itself was up at 6:30. That's funny, man. That's funny. Vince McMahon's fingerprint. Oh, man, they're just setting up the narrative, right? I said it a couple of times already. We're about to hit 200 on the ups. I appreciate that. I forgot to even mention that in this stream, guys. An hour and 16 minutes. I forgot to say, hey, don't forget, smash that up. You guys did it on your own accord. I appreciate the fuck out of you. And we already put up a podcast a few hours ago. So a couple more, guys, and we're going to hit 200 plus. I appreciate that. But, this is one of those scenarios where I was on a red eye. I didn't catch any pay-per-view from last night, but apparently, that fan base is saying it was a really good pay-per-view, and oh my goodness, it was wrestling at its best, and this and that. And it's funny because those same motherfuckers can't keep Vince McMahon's name out of their mouth. You would think they would be talking about that pay-per-view still to this day. You would think that would be the main focal point, right? Apparently, this other company put on such a good event, but no, they're appalled by what WWE is doing. Vince McMahon running his own company is what is first and foremost on their agenda right now. How fast they already forgot about the pay-per-view from last night. It's interesting, man. Very interesting. You guys are the best, man. Guys, I gotta give you a salute, man. Every time I look at that chat, man, I'm so fucking thrilled to have you guys as my unit. I don't want to get sentimental on this shit, but much love to every single one of you guys, man. The absolute best in this community is honestly right the fuck here, man. We just talk the most truth. It's so truthful what we speak, we probably shouldn't be saying it because we're going to offend and piss off a lot of people at once. And I just don't mind it. Because I started the channel with one goal, help the companies get better so that we, the fans, get better, so the industry prospers. We don't do that unless we tell these type of facts. Speak that truth, BC, is what you guys always tell me. Fuck it. That's what I'm going to do, man. Man, we are something else, man. We're so different in this community, man. There's nothing like us, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Salute to every single one of you guys, man. If you don't mind, I want to stick around for a little bit because there were some super chats that came in, and I want to make sure that I acknowledge all you guys. There's some big storms heading right over NYC for the last couple of days, and I feel like some big storms are on their way in, so I want to make sure I get this stream in. So what I would like to do is get over to my supers right now, but I can't do that unless I get to the big screen. There it is. Stegmeister started us off with a 10 spot. Stegmeister Ash Stegel says, "Gold team, let me talk to ya." Going off my super thanks from earlier, I will beat Logan with an inch of his life on 2K23, and it'll be a 5-star banger. Now let's rock this week with everybody saying BC rocks, yeah. Stegmeister, I love that super thanks from earlier, bro. As long as I know that at least on your 2K23 game, LA Knight is defeating Logan, all is right with the world, bro. Stegmeister, thanks for kicking us off the right way, dude. And that 6-month membership. Basically, day one. Colin with a 2 spot says, I have a bad feeling about LA Knight. Yeah, I hope he wins. Colin doesn't trust WWE's booking. I don't either. From what we're hearing, Colin, it looks like it's going to be Logan Paul. Yeah, Logan Paul is the front winner right now. Internally. Anyway. So, yeah, that bad feeling about LA Knight not winning, it's for a reason. It's for a proper reason, Colin. Jane Donnelly with a 5 spot. Jane Donnelly, what's up? Jane says, STG, Vince could be in his grave. STG, I don't know what those, what does that mean? Vince could be in his grave and they'll still use him as an excuse. I'm just going to go past the STG, Jane Donnelly. I still think maybe Vince could be in his grave and they'll still use him as an excuse. Beasley, Triple H has to fix Vince's mistakes. Give him a year to recover, Beasley. How'd I do, Jane Donnelly? Was that pretty good? Beasley, it's years of Vince's mistakes. Give Paul Levesque just a decade, man. Just give him 12 good years. Beasley. Jane Donnelly, swear to God is what it says. Okay. Swear to God. See, I didn't know that. But you know, I'm not really an online type of person. I'm much too busy. So I'm not as hip with all the acronyms. I like that. Swear to God. That's STG, huh? I'd be thinking that's some type of sexual disease or something, so I'm going to stay away from it still. But thank you for telling me that. But yeah, Jane Donnelly, first of all, good to see you up in here. Thank you for the coffee. And that's just what they do. It's a narrative at this point. Jane Donnelly, we can talk about this sun up to sundown, and it's not going to change, right? There are journalists, there are reporters, content creators, podcasters with their own audiences, and the narrative is already full-blown. It's Vince bad, H is a god. And that narrative is 24/7. You could tune into those people right now, and they're probably talking about Vince McMahon destroying Raw already. And I'm not saying that that's not going to happen, by the way. Of course. Statistically, it'll show you Raw's probably not going to be good tonight. But you can also blame Paul for that. But these people, one-track agendas, right? It's a narrative. And I understand it. It's because they're pleasing a fan base, right? If you're a journalist, if you're a reporter, if you're a content creator, if you're a podcaster, chances are you have a base, you know, and you don't want to steer too far from it. You don't want to rile up your own base, right? So if your narrative was let's trash Vince at all costs and blame nobody else, and let's just keep this Vince bad narrative, then that's the narrative, man. And you don't want to flock against it. So it's what it is. On this channel, we just never had a narrative. I just always just go by what is the facts. Every day I could change judging by the facts. If the facts change, we're going to change what we're talking about. And I've pissed a lot of people off that way. They come across the channel, they like what they hear, they subscribe, and then the next day I'm trashing something they love, but it's justified. And they're like, oh no, I didn't think you were going to fucking trash that. I'm fucking out of here. Bye? I don't know what the fuck you want. You're not going to get a parting gift other than a boot in the ass. We just never had a narrative, guys. So we're going to call down the middle, H and Vince. And we're going to continue to blame both. Dwayne Piazza, BC, I love your show because you always tell the truth. Dwayne, I appreciate that, man. That's the audience that I want. And for those that can't handle it, das Boot. And if you can, grab a coffee, kick your feet up, let's rock. I mean, I love amplified unit members that can handle the truth because then we're all in on the discussion. But it's okay if you can't handle it or you don't want to hear me rip apart your favorite wrestler or favorite show or favorite company. That's fine. This ain't the place for you. There's plenty of channels that are literally catering to what you like. If you love AEW, there are channels that will literally suck the company's fucking hog. Literally. They'll act like they critique it here and there, but for the most part, you know they're sucking the AEW hog, right? Maybe there's an Impact Wrestling motherfucker that's covering it, a journalist, and they only talk about Impact in the most positive ways, right? And everything else is shit. Well, they're sucking the Impact hog. Maybe there's WWE-ites like that, right? Where they're going to give 27 ups on a show that deserves 27,000 downs. Everybody has these narratives. It's fucking pathetic. Anyway, Jane Donnelly. You are so right. Anthony Bowley with a 20 spot, by the way. Anthony Bowley chucking 4 Starbuckses and 7 Dunkins. Salute Anthony Bowley. Gold team. Anthony says, hey, BC, here's some coffee on me. Much love and respect, BC. Gold team and red team. Go. Fuck yeah, Anthony Bowley, a 20 spot, man. I'm going to drink all those fucking coffees all at once. I'm going to get 4 fucking extra lattes from Starbucks and pound them down like fucking Austin. Anthony Bowley, I appreciate it, man. Network Guy Dave with a 10 spot. Network Guy, good to see you up in here, man. What's up, BC? What up, dude? You are absolutely right. Triple H knows that the product is trash. Triple H agrees with Vince on everything. Triple H and Vince are the reason why the ratings are dropping. Vince plus 3 H's equals garbage. Network Guy Dave, I detect 0 lies in anything you just said. He is in every meeting, just as if you were working at McDonald's and your boss is treating you filthy. Or if you're on Wall Street making a lot of money and your boss is treating you filthy every day. WWE is not immune to that. Paul Levesque, when people say, what is he supposed to do? Leave. BC, you're being ridiculous. He's getting paid so much money, man. Then what are you saying? You're contradicting yourself. He can't do anything, but he can't leave because he loves the power and the money too much. Then he's the lead ass-kissing enabler. Then you still gotta fucking blame him for being the lead ass-kissing enabler. Vince is doing all this because he's getting away with it. He's getting away with it because nobody's got their balls to stand up to him. BC, you don't know what he's doing, man. He could have stand up to him. I just heard a report, BC, that him and Nick Khan, they had a meeting with Vince. Well, that shows you how good that did because his fingerprints are supposedly on tonight's show. These fuckers can't even get their stories right. And no, Paul Levesque doesn't stand up to him because Paul Levesque has said in numerous interviews that you don't know what you're talking about and that Vince knows what's best for business and that we all think we know what's best, but we don't know what Vince deals with on a day-to-day, hour-to-hour basis. Paul Levesque has stuck his middle finger up at you and said, fuck off. And what do you say? Okay, please, sir, can I have some more? Feed me whatever you want. We're going to put you on a pedestal. Yeah, Triple H, D-Money, A-Cash. Triple H is the one that said, if you don't like it, don't watch it. That was H. That was H. You claim you don't like it, but you still watch it. BC loves pro. Of course I'm going to watch, just like when my Knicks have been bad for 20 years. I didn't stop watching my Knicks. I showed up to Madison Square Garden, and we booed the shit out of them. We hooted, we hollered, we complained, we bitched, we moaned, we ranted live in Madison Square Garden. We made them make better calls, and finally we were in the playoffs in a good position this year. But we didn't stop watching the Knicks. We complained. We ranted. We don't stop watching pro wrestling, but there's some fans that claim they can't stand anything, right? They're basically just hate watching at this point. They're not trying to make it better. They love ripping it apart. It's how they view it. Then just stop watching. That's what your savior of WWE said. That's what Paul Levesque said. If you don't like it, don't watch it because you don't know what you're talking about. Vince knows what's best for business. That was Paul Levesque when he was asked about people's anger toward Vince and the product not being where it should be. Paul Levesque said, fuck you to you guys. And nobody wants to hear about it. No, he didn't mean it, BC. He loves us. I think right now, Paul Levesque, if he wasn't so busy, he would tuck us in and read us a bedtime story with some hot cocoa, BC. Network guy Dave, it's pathetic. Network guy Dave, salute, bro. The fourth one, 5-Spot Coffee. Giving Logan that briefcase is like David Arquette winning the world championship all over again. Stop it. Get some help. No doubt, fourth one. I wouldn't go that bad, maybe. I mean, that's funny, though, because at least Logan Paul can put on good matches, and I do believe he can put storylines on his back. But a briefcase for a part-timer that has already said he's wrestling no more than 3 to 4 times a year, and that's tops. Then every time he comes up once every now and again, he's going to come up with the briefcase, and we're going to be like, oh, yeah, he still has the briefcase. How does that make more sense than catapulting a star that is all ready to shine brighter than everybody else, L.A. Knight? He's in your locker room. He's in your company. And you're going to overlook L.A. Knight and go to Logan Paul because Paul Levesque loves Logan Paul. Paul Levesque loves Logan Paul. Fourth one, no doubt. Dave Mealy, 5-Spot Coffee. There's no way Logan is winning at Money in the Bank. We all know he's in Money in the Bank simply because it's in London. I don't get it, Dave. What do you mean there's no way? What do you know that I don't know? There better be no way. I'm down with it. If you know something, if you've heard something, then that's good to know. But right now, internally, that's who they're going with, Logan Paul. And I don't think he has any ties to London, does he? I think he's from Cleveland. I don't know. I don't think he's from London. Doesn't have an accent or anything. Dave, another 5-Spot says, how about Sean cutting a promo on Brett in his sunny days? There you go, Dave. That's when it was good, man. I remember a lot of that promo, too. A lot of that shit. Dave Mealy, 10-Spot. I've got a real throwback for you, BC. Going all the way back to Primetime Wrestling when they spent an entire episode around Macho Man asking Mr. Perfect to be his tag team partner at Survivor Series. I remember that whole episode, bro. Dave, you're playing with the big dog right now, dude. I remember that whole episode, Primetime Wrestling, decades ago. Macho Man trying to get Mr. Perfect. I still remember the setup. Mr. Perfect is sitting next to Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan is the manager for Ric Flair, and Mr. Perfect hadn't wrestled in a long time at that point. And Macho Man is trying to get Mr. Perfect against Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan says, you know your role. Shut up, speak when spoken to. He's not going to be your tag partner. And Mr. Perfect is like, excuse me, motherfucker? And Bobby Heenan, no shit, guys, live, on air, Bobby Heenan smacks the taste out of Mr. Perfect's mouth. And right there, you knew Mr. Perfect was breaking up with the Heenan family and going against Ric Flair. Flair would end up getting Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, and Mr. Perfect would go with Macho Man Randy Savage. And I believe that was a Survivor Series tag team match. Dave Mealy, good call on that one, bro. Big Nang, 10-Spot. As of now, Santino Marella has a good chance dethroning Reigns by then. You see how crazy Carlito and Savio's reception was. Santino returning in 2024 would have been a mark-out moment. Yeah, man, Carlito, Big Nang. No doubt, Big Nang. But if I can stem off of that super chat, Big Nang. Carlito is saying that he's back with WWE already. The contract has finally been signed. There was a couple of hang-ups that they could not agree on. Carlito is now saying he's back. Dates were canceled, and he could be back for the Madison Square Garden show, is what I'm hearing. But anyway, Big Nang, absolutely, bro. That just made me think about Carlito possibly coming back to it. Yeah, and that reception at Backlash, Puerto Rico, I've always liked Carlito, man. Carlito Caribbean cool. Jimmy Fingers 19 with a 10-19 and a 5-19. So a bunch of fucking coffees chucked at the wall of the channel. Jimmy Fingers 19. Salute, brother. Always good to see Jimmy Fingers 19 up in here. Are we looking at the Usos versus Solo and Roman Anoa'i at SummerSlam? And if so, where do the Usos go from there? Do they go back after Sammy and KO? Question mark. Where does LA Knight go if Logan Paul wins Money in the Bank? That's what I'm saying. Jimmy Fingers 19, I know where you're going with those questions. There is no answer. There's nothing that could justify those scenarios playing out. Logan Paul cannot win this briefcase. It just looks like he's going to. And I don't even want to... We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. As far as Roman and Solo versus the Usos, I don't know. There's no reason we would see that after Money in the Bank. It's a tag match. We do it once. It's done. Roman has to start concentrating on defending his actual championship. Next week is July. That will make 4 months since Roman has defended his title. 4 months! It's going on 120 days. 4 months. Roman eventually has to get away from tag teams, stop vacations, and show up to work and defend the title. So, Jimmy Fingers 19, I absolutely know where you're going with it, and you are right. There is no answer. None that are justified. Jimmy Fingers 19 says, how about Papa Shango making the black ooze drip out of Mean Gene's sleeve and making the Ultimate Warrior throw up? I also remember Jimmy Fingers 19, the black ooze coming down off of the head through the hair of Ultimate Warrior. And while Mean Gene was interviewing him. I used to love fucking Papa Shango, bro. Pro wrestling is wacky like that. It's why we all fell in love with it, you know? And now the older we get, we just we stop having fun, and now we treat it like it's a real sport, and we need to see who the best athlete is. It's weird what wrestling has turned into. But Jimmy Fingers 19, Papa Shango was the shit, bro. Warrior's fucking puking. He's got ooze coming. I'm thinking, even at that age, I'm thinking, how are they doing this? This is way better than voodoo, magic, supernatural. How are they doing this? Warrior looks like he's fucking dying. I now need to see Papa Shango versus Warrior. Fuck, Big Boss Man in the Mountie. Loser goes literally to jail. And it wasn't like NXT a few months ago where it was a loser goes to jail match, something like that, and they had a cell right there, which, by the way, was still done really good. But you literally got taken off to jail. And they kept going back to the jailhouse, and Mountie is crying, let me out of here, boss man! Fuck, bro. You guys are bringing me back, man, to some of the best memories and moments that made BC fall in love with pro wrestling. And none of it had to do with 7-star bangers, 30-minute classics. We're losing sight of pro wrestling and what it was based upon, what it was founded upon, the core of pro wrestling. Larger-than-life characters and storylines that captivate us. Captivates us. To the point where we need to fork over our money because we have to see the pay-per-view. Nowadays, no storyline is needed, we're told by fans. Don't worry about the ratings. So what if they're cut in half, literally? Just enjoy wrestling. Fans shouldn't look at the ratings. Right, because if a show gets canceled, or an hour gets taken off, or added on, or a new show's coming, or fucking a show doesn't last, I don't want to be left out in the dark as to why. I'll know why, because I follow the ratings. You don't have to follow me following the ratings. How's that, Jack? You're the fucking schmuck that claims it doesn't matter, and you're fucking watching somebody vividly talk about the ratings. Ratings don't matter, we hear. We hear storylines don't matter. As long as we get to see a dream match, basically. Just imagine the match. Jimmy Fingers 19. Fuck yeah, bro. Jimmy Fingers 19 with another 10-19 too. Macho crushing Steamboat's lyrics with the bell. Oh yeah, causing Ricky to go to speech therapy. Jake getting sprayed in the eye with the arrogance from Rick the Model Martel. And losing his pupil and needing an eye patch. And when he took that patch off, you remember his eye? They used to go above and beyond to make everything, even if it was ludicrous, wacky, straight up circus shit, they would go out of their way to make you believe, to captivate you. I still remember the arrogance and what happened to his fucking eyeball. They went out of their way back in the day to make shit special. Jimmy Fingers, 19. Anthony Boley, 10 spot. This is why I've been watching you, BC. WWE couldn't pull a damn good storyline out of their backside. This is why I've been watching just you, BC. WWE couldn't pull a damn good storyline out of their backside. Anthony Boley, I appreciate you choosing me when there's a lot of people you could be watching. The fact that you give your time to BC and listen to my podcast, I give you an honor, and this is just because you're a gold member. I give you my honest respect right back, man. Because I always have respect for people that can deal with the truth, even if they don't like what they're hearing. Even if they disagree with some of it, they know that we're speaking the truth so we can make it better. We're not just ripping shit apart because we're just woke up in a bad mood. We're not just hate watching the product. Salute, Anthony Boley. Colin with a 5 spot. Colin says, total nonstop action. Do you remember when Abyss attacks Christian Cage at his home? I don't recall that. I don't know if I saw that, though. But I got to be honest, Colin, I wasn't able to catch a lot of Impact TNA back in the day. A lot of it was under Josh Matthews, and that was like nails on a chalkboard for BC. I could not do Josh Matthews. That dude on commentary just was nauseating. It was like the Sethington Rollins 000 song when the crowd sings for 20 minutes. Guys, I literally have to mute Monday Night Raw when that happens. And I feel bad. I like Sethington, but I can't do the crowd sing-along. It makes me nauseous. And it's not an LOL moment. I'm not saying that for a laugh. I'm saying I literally mute it because I get nauseous. Everybody just looks so fucking stupid. It lasts forever. I can't do it. I get nauseous. So, Colin, I didn't really watch a lot of Total, but it sounds pretty good, man. And Christian is good. And Abyss, I used to love Abyss. Abyss was working with I think he's still with him, right? He worked with WWE behind the scenes for a long time. Interestingly enough. If I missed anybody, guys, I will get you in the very next podcast. I'm trying to keep everything in order here, and I only have a couple of minutes before Monday Night Raw. Patriot Ninja, 5 spot. Patriot Ninja with a 5 spot says, much love to you in the community. Have a coffee on me, brother. BC, don't tell the truth. They can't handle it. Patriot Ninja, appreciate you, bro. I appreciate the coffee, and I know they can't handle the truth, but we're going to keep dishing it because, hey, sometimes it's fun to pass the tier bucket. Patriot Ninja, appreciate you, bro. JR9 Gaming, 2 spot. Orton's new version of theme is out this Friday. JR9, this is big, JR9, because I never liked his last theme. I hear voices in my head. They talk to me. It's okay, but it never reached the level of Evolution. And when he was a part of that group, he got to basically have that song for him more than anybody else in the group. And when the turn happened, that's when he got the 2 new themes, and including the one that we've had for years. I never was really that big on it. I always thought that Orton could have something better. When he had that Evolution theme, dude, Orton was one of my faves, man. JR9 Gaming, thank you for that tidbit, dude. JR9 says it's the same song, just slightly updated, more drums added, and slightly fat. That's what I want. I feel it's too methodical. It fits Orton's character to a bit, but a little bit more energy. I think Orton would benefit from it. A Marie 316, 5 spot coffee. I like the fact that you can be objective instead of going by emotions alone. Amari 316, I appreciate that big time. That's what I mean about narratives in the community and people in the community that are afraid to lose their fan bases, their audience. If they say something that a lot of their audience is not going to like, they're afraid to speak that truth. I will never be that way. If people are going to cry, if people feel they have to leave the channel, if anything happens like that, then that's just what has to happen. But I always have to speak facts. So Amari 316, I appreciate that big time. Those words are very special to BC. Amari 316 with another 5 spot coffee says, like, for example, I personally ain't interested in the Becky Trish storyline, but at the same time, I can recognize that you're right about Trish. I appreciate that big time. If you don't like Trish or Becky, that's not just you. A lot of people have said they don't like the Trish Becky thing. That's fine. That's the eye of the beholder, your prerogative. But to say that Trish is just not good, factually, she just sucks and she's not doing anything for the women's division, she's the reason this Becky thing is collapsing, that's all false, man. When you really dissect it, Trish is holding her weight and then some. So I appreciate that even though you don't like Becky and Trish right now, you can see through the critique to the truth and what's fiction. Fiction is saying she absolutely sucks and has no place in WWE. That's bullshit. Trish absolutely is pulling her weight. Anyway, I could go an hour on that. I appreciate that big time, Amari316. Dave Mille, 5 spots, says Triple H actually does tell us a bedtime story. It's called Monday Night Raw. Joke of the night goes over to Dave Mille, bro. Check you on that. See yourself to the door. That's a good one, Dave. You win the night. You can go home now. That's good, bro. Dave Mille says Triple H does tell us a bedtime story. It's called Monday Night Raw. Yeah, Raw is starting, guys. So let me go through these, man. Savage 1024, The Punisher. Where's Savage 24? Do you remember that one time The Rock made fun of Big Show, Kane, and Undertaker 2 months after I was born? That would make you laugh to death. Rock made fun of Big Show, Kane, and Undertaker. I don't remember that, actually. So I know I must have seen it. I don't remember it. So maybe that's something to go back with. Interesting. Also, Savage 1024, The Punisher, 5 spot. BC, imagine someone claiming they're the best in the world, but have no attributes at all to wrestling whatsoever. No shade. Imagine someone claiming they're the best in the world, but have no attributes. Claiming to be best in the world. I don't know what that means, Savage 1024, The Punisher. There was a wrestler that used to call himself the best in the world, and he had average skills. And now he's just older, bitter, and cries a lot. Far from the best in the world. But I don't know anybody else that called themselves the best in the world, Savage. But appreciate the coffee, bro. Clutch City Fan, 2 spot. BC, what up, pimp? I'm giving H a chance tonight. Let's see, bro. If it goes haywire, blame Vince. It's what we do in the community. Eddie Brash, 279. Yo, BC, you recall Undertaker hanging Stone Cold Steve Austin to a cross. I do. And I also remember Stephanie McMahon crucifixed. Crazy shit back in the day, and they let that shit rock and ride. Eddie Brash. Network guy Dave, 1001, WWF greater than WWE. I remember when you did not want to miss a Raw or SmackDown episode. Remember when The Rock gave the nation Rolex watches except Farouk. He gave Farouk a portrait of himself with the IC belt. I do, and I literally LOL'd, man. And I was edge of my seat. Farouk is like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Those are the segments that you remember in time. Unfucking real, man. Make sure I got everybody, guys. I know Raw has just started. I'm going to go do my due diligence on my notes. I assure you of that. Colin, 5 spot. Remember Eric Bischoff surprised Stephanie in the episode of Smack? I do. I remember a lot of Eric Bischoff, believe it or not. I do remember a lot of Eric Bischoff's shit, man. Eric Bischoff is actually a really good character in pro wrestling. He played his part beautifully in WCW with the NWO and out of the NWO, and he played his part pretty fucking good in WWE with his limited time. Who's starting the show, guys? I'm going to go do my due diligence on my notes right now. I'm going to grab a coffee, first of all. I appreciate all the super chats, man. I think I got all of them. I will go over the list. If I missed anybody, I'll get you in tomorrow's podcast, the review of Raw. Maybe we can do that live. Maybe it has to be filmed, recorded earlier in the morning, so it would not be live. But either way, you guys are going to get a full Raw review. I'm going to go get some coffee. I got a little bit of business to do, but I'm going to do all 3 hours of notes, I assure you. Let me see what's starting the show. What are you guys telling me? Go Jackets, check you. Thank you for the gold status. Go Jackets. James Shrimp Fajitas, Brad Boyer, Eric Leno, Sir Charles. Cosmic Tron, James Shrimp Fajitas, Stegmeister, Marie, Jane Donnelly, Tony Partita, Mikkel, Rhea and Dum Dum are starting the show. Okay, is it just them in the ring cutting a promo, or is anybody else out there with them? Eric, I'm not even. I don't have the TV set up in the office studio, so I have to. The office studio is shut out half of it because I had to go away on a little business venture this weekend. So half the office studio is kind of off limit right now. So as it is, I have to go into another whole room to even catch Raw. So I can't stay on for the first hour. Cody is coming out now. All right, so this is where it's either going to get really good or it's going to be a subpar segment. BC's going to have his notes ready for tomorrow's review. Remember, guys, if it's bad, just blame Vince. Remember, Paul Levesque he was eating a cheese Danish for the 3 hours. And if it's good, if you see anything good, remember you got to give the credit to Paul Levesque, okay, guys? This is what we do, all right? Because we're pro wrestling fans, and this is our narrative in WWE. All right, guys, much love and respect. We are 6 minutes past our time. It is Monday Night Raw time. BC's going to do his notes. Until next time, and there will be a next time, review for Raw tomorrow. Top guy, I'm out. BC saying check you. Thank you so much for everybody that smashed that up on the way in, man. We're almost at 250 on an impromptu live stream. Pretty fucking badass. Check you guys. Hey, Sir Charles and Marie. I see you guys, man. Salute. Salute.